talk about the situation right now in the business world. We understand that NAOS actually operates in 6 countries. Is there any interesting findings that you can share with our audience today?
So we have 3 offices, but we're placed in 38 countries. So
Okay, all right.
very, very broad anyway. Are there any insights? I think looking at it from a global perspective, really the key things that we've observed, and this is, as I mentioned earlier, it's very centralized. It's more of a hub model. Typically, I think I don't know if it's fortunate or unfortunate being in Singapore, but we're a bit behind the rest of the world initially in the opening up of economies. Obviously, the situation was that I tell this and joke with my family as well, that I would have thought back in February and March, Asia was in front of the rest of the world from dealing with the virus. Transpired that Singapore obviously had a bit of a blip around April, and we ended up going backwards a little bit in comparison to other countries. And I'll use the UK as my example through talking to family there. We kind of fell backwards, I think. So we've seen in hindsight that obviously our Paris office, our Dubai office was able to reopen a lot quicker than our Singapore office. What we've seen is typically once governments allow people to come back to the office and not work from home, and that could be anything from 50% capacity up to full capacity of an office. We've typically seen, I think our data shows it's about 1 month for recruitment projects to come in. So it feels that once the office is moving properly, therefore I guess key decision makers are meeting, they're having more collaborative conversations, that they're obviously spending that 30 days to talk about what they need to do, put plans in place, get sign-offs for projects, and then they're essentially hiring and coming to us with a lot more projects after a month. So I think that is a good thing, right? We've seen it get better. Typically when people are in the office, things move a lot more quickly. But I think more isolated from a Singapore perspective, I just feel, and I don't know if you guys agree at Blackstone, but just since September arrived, I feel a lot more confidence. As soon as 1st of September hit, there feels to be a different vibe around the city and around the region through conversations. It seems to be that as we're progressing through the month, it's busier and busier. As I'm in the office today, it's obviously 2 or 3 days a week, but there's more people commuting on the bus, there's more traffic in the city. I kind of feel that there is a better vibe. So I think thankfully we're moving in the right direction. There's still some industries that are obviously affected. I know, for example, a client I'm working with in the travel industry supplies a lot of software to sort of travel agents. So they're saying, well, there's obviously no idea when things are picking up. I think news around, like Paddy mentioned, SIA this week, making retrenchments and not understanding how their business will grow. It's not great, but I think that they're very optimistic and keeping a plan that, look, I think March 2021 is when they know they need to hire. They have confidence in their product, they will grow. So I guess they've just got to sit it out and strategize how they wait for the next 6 months. But other businesses, I think if you're not directly in travel or tourism, then we're definitely seeing more confidence across, because the general consensus of what I've had conversations with is that people can't not do anything any longer. They need to do something, and that's really started now.
So thanks for the sharing. So what about Paddy? What is your view from the Southeast Asia perspective?
I think when the lockdown happens, like for example here in Southeast Asia, Malaysia was actually one of the few countries that actually started the so-called equivalent to Singapore circuit breaker, all the lockdowns and stuff like that. I think the first few months it was pretty chaotic. Partly it's because of you assume, most of us assume that your lockdown is only probably a month or so, and then it started to get extension here and there. It got extended 1 time, twice, and everything. I think the panic actually starts probably around May, June, July periods, especially in around the months of June and July. I mean, in general, I'm speaking with the perspective of those interactions that we had. Is that a lot of business owners start to realize that they have problems getting goods in and out of the country. They are not able to travel, and the thing is that I'm continuing to pay my employee salary, and a lot of them, especially where, as I mentioned earlier, that you need to have so-called physical activities and stuff like that. And if the restaurants are shut down, shopping malls are shut down, so everybody got to work from home. A lot of business owners, especially those in SME, they start to go into the panic mode, where it is more of like, should I continue, should I not continue? And that also allows them to have sort of like, okay, if I were to continue, how long can I actually last financially? If I were to go and get a bank loan, how much can I get and stuff like that. So a lot of people, a lot of business owners start to get panic on this. Similarly, same for startups, where a lot of startups was like, okay, especially here in Singapore, where where a lot of startups are based here. A lot of them are funded around here, but their market may not necessarily be in Singapore itself. So if you're looking from a Singapore perspective, is that a lot of startups or a lot of businesses, they actually serve outside of Singapore. They don't just serve the market here. They actually serve the market outside. And then at the same time, coincidentally, Donald Trump, Xi Jinping from China, they just had a huge fight again and again, and everybody was like, okay, so there seems to be a lot of punishment going around. You start slapping on the left face and start slapping on the right face, and a lot of decisions cannot be made because, simply put, if I were to start manufacturing in China and then start selling to US, I get my tax is going to be crazy, and the US side seems to be going after a lot of Chinese-based company, that kind of stuff. So it created a lot of uncertainty, and when that kind of uncertainty, I mean, truth to be told, is that the uncertainty is not good. A lot of companies have to make a lot of quick decisions. Whether do they want to trim down the whole entire workforce? Do they want to scale down? Or maybe some of the companies actually took the opportunities where some of these clients actually hired people like us, took the opportunity to slice and dice the whole entire business and really trim down. But yet at the same time, which I agree with Craig, they kept those that are very talented folks. So they keep the talents, and they probably, some of them even like split the company up, spin off the company. Okay, I mean everything almost literally virtually. So they split the company up, they put the right people into the right job, and then push it out. And at the same time, some of them even because they managed to trim down a handful of the workforce, they managed to trim down a lot of operations. Like for example, some of them may be running businesses where they need office. So they decided, just cut the loss and then that's it, and then move away so that they can have some of these savings, and some of these savings can actually be pretty huge, and also at the same time, some of these business owners have been rather truthful. They told their employees that guys, girls, this is the situation of the world. There's a lot of things that I can handle. So it's either I cut you out, okay, I cut the operation out, I cut the people out, I cut the business out and everything, and everybody get nothing, or maybe what we can do is let all strike out together, and start from the top. Usually, I will suggest, if you want to cut salary, no point cutting the last guy, okay? Because the last guy salary is probably a very small percentage of the top guy. So start with the top guy first. Cut the salaries and then really trim it down, and then come up with very innovative strategies, come up with very innovative, creative ideas. Don't just think of a hire, fire. And the good people will probably not stay. And even if the pandemic is so-called over, okay, the talents, those are really good ones. They know their worth, because if they can survive this pandemic, I mean, the really good one, they probably don't want to work for you anymore. Because why? It actually shows the true color of the bosses. It actually shows the true color of the management, and it shows the true color of everybody. Because I mean, we are stuck at home for working the longest time. I mean, good that especially, I do agree with Craig, especially like now in September, seems like lots of business activities start to come in and everything. So I don't really have an answer, but what I'm trying to say here is that a lot of activities that had been ongoing evolved quite rapidly. So from the month of June, July, I think this is where a lot of businesses actually start to feel that they have to make certain decisions. And if you don't make any certain decisions, they're probably going to miss out Q3 and Q4 of that year. And the impact will probably be a full-blown 2021. So this is, I think, if you ask me, I think it will be more negative than positive. But from the negativity side, you have to do something. Otherwise, if you're going to just hold on to it, thinking that this pandemic is going to be over overnight, and thinking that everybody is going to be back to normal as if nothing happens, I don't think so. I think the talented one will probably be sourcing around, because by then you may actually discover that, hey, guess what? I've been paid like $7,000 US per month. In fact, I can actually accomplish much more things when I'm at home. on a full-time job. But guess what? In between, I can probably identify myself and probably identify that I'm actually stronger in this than in other stuff. And I can probably find some other jobs that can actually replace this 7,000, and I can probably do much more effectively and efficiently. I think this is the situation that a lot of us are being conditioned now.
Right. Thanks for sharing.